Alright, so everyone's here other than Tyler, who will not be.
Hey.
So I believe when we last left off, you were all headed back to Marienburg after dropping off the two hill giants at Grothaug.
Yep.
So you headed straight to Marienburg then?
To turn in Dragonhead. Yeah.
Alright. Now, are you going to go back the way you came to Grothaug from Marienburg, or are you going to cut cross country?
Titus.
We cut cross country to get here, didn't we?
Yes, but you cut cross country essentially from Phandalin.
Which way is the bathroom?
I mean, you're now on the other side of the mountain, so it varies.
We have to return the contents to the people they were stolen from. So we have to go back to that area anyway.
Okay, so how are we supposed to tell what contents we're blind to coup, being as we don't have? Oh, hey, this is my shopping list. Just to point out that out.
Cost.
Well, we can't, I guess.
Does any random merchant come up to you like, hey, that's my stuff?
Or we could be
Or-
like, we have found some missing items. Can you describe what you are missing?
It was mostly money that we gathered in common items, but one, we need to pay for damages to the farmers themselves. And two, when we get to Marienburg, we can see, because we didn't see any bodies, so we can check a tavern or two to see if there's any merchant robbing their sorrows.
Okay, as long as we have a plan for returning.
So I think the plan is to return to the local area that we found or came across all these giants and fought the dragon.
Alright. So you guys head back to just north of Phandalin. And once again, it's going to take you about 4 days, roughly speaking. And
I'll
man,
use gentle repose of the dragon's head again. But now I'm out of copper, so someone's gonna need give me copper. So you have to
does it
pack-
consume it?
You know, doesn't seem like it, the way it's worded.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Do gentle repose. Pinch of salt, 1 copper piece, place it, which must remain there for the duration.
Yeah, so it's not consumed. They just
Oh, okay.
you just have, because it'll say that it's consumed by the spell. Otherwise.
Yeah.
So you guys head back, and you notice that some of the stuff is still there.
Are there tracks?
I mean, there's lots of tracks. This place is covered in tracks. From you,
Okay. More specifically, do we recognize what stuff is missing now?
by the looks of things, all the money.
I thought Tyler collected that.
Not everything that was laying on the ground. He found a chest that had money in it,
Oh,
and so he took that one chest. But there was money like scattered around as well, and that appears to all be gone.
it's not much for it, I suppose. We should see to the farmers of this land, see if the damage is done, and pay for them in equal measure. Any objections?
Well,
Okay. So I guess we'll do our best to determine where the farmers of this particular region might live.
all around.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah. I guess I don't really know how expansive these fields are.
I mean, the Empire is far enough along that the farmers do not make just for the local counter. They make enough food to be able to sell to larger markets around, beyond their locale.
And so what you're saying, we could find find farmers at the market, possibly in Marienburg.
Possibly.
Possibly. Unless anyone wants to start searching out houses.
No way. That would take way too long.
This is an endeavor. Lorkel. It's too much about shop.
We could just donate the money. I mean,
To Marienburg we go then, I suppose.
I love how you always add that S to
Marienburg. I don't know. I guess it just kind of
It just comes to
feels
him.
natural. Yeah.
Tasty.
Well, it's going to be about 2 days from your current location then to get to Marienburg.
Sounds good.
So you travel north off the road, making things much easier. And obviously Lady Marie follows above you on her cloud. Every so often, on a very rare occasion, when she seems bored enough, she gets down and like actually walks beside you all. But it's on very rare occasions that
I mean, it's been 2 days. How rare can it be?
she did it like once. And she only did a couple hours, and then she just kind of realized, why do people even bother walking? And she got back on her cloud. Yes, after 2 days of travel, you're now approaching the walls of Marienburg.
Excellent. We'll go through the Noble Gatehouse.
So you head towards the gate, Noble's Gate, and it's a slightly different experience because every other time you've come here, it's been with Betty, and Betty didn't go anywhere near the town. She stayed in very safe distance. But as you near the town, Lady Marie gets down from her cloud, sends it off somewhere, and she approaches the gate right alongside you.
Greetings, guardsmen. You require passage.
Everyone is awkwardly and mouth agape staring at Lady Marie currently.
It is rude to stare at a lady in such a manner.
Can I help you, good sir?
Indeed. Titus Valerius, here seeking passage into Marienburg.
Titus Valerius. Do you believe we've heard some word of you? You're the one that gathered a group of mercenaries that got the mines back opened in Vandalin, correct?
Indeed, that it's us.
Oh. Pleasure meeting you. He still keeps like looking over your shoulder at Lady Marie every so often. I take it this is your entourage?
That would be correct. They'll be accompanying me.
He leans in a bit closer and is like, I believe we have facilities that would accommodate your friend.
She comes with facilities. She's fine.
Saying that he's
Already not.
like,
No, I'm not saying that out loud because I
he's
don't.
more or less trying very quietly to say this only to Titus. So
Worry not, my friend. It's only business.
kind of looks back to the portcullis, looking at how tall it is, and then looking back at her. And, well, if you say so, it's going to be 25 gold, my lord.
Of course. I'll give you 30, and you can keep 5 for yourself.
I knew he was gonna say that. I should have said it out loud first. I could have won something.
Don't worry, Kelly. There's always later.
Well, he looks a little confused by the fact, but whatever. Lords want to spend their money. Lords spend their money. And then he ushers you in, and like everyone has stopped. All the people entering through all the gates. Several other guards have stepped out of the guardhouse, and they're all just like they look like they're wondering how exactly Marie is going to be able to get through the gate.
She flies over the gate. Is she not on her cloud?
She got down, and she sent it off somewhere.
Well, she can back and fly out. Well, maybe she should stay outside.
Kelly could cast. What is it? To make things small. Or
Reduce, so she can just walk through. Would she want that? I mean, would that make her feel weird?
you do plan on accompanying us, don't you, Lady Marie?
Yeah, just we should ask her.
But of course. But it sounds like you've decided that I'm part of your entourage, my little lord.
I mean, she did say she was gonna accompany us.
Are we making assumptions?
Apologies. I am not used to traveling with another of noble stature.
Yes, you would have, in reference to what we didn't get to actually finish in the Discord, you learned that she is of a noble house, though In her case, it is a merchant noble. They've essentially bought their title.
Okay.
So it's not through blood, but you also learn that that's kind of why, like, she basically doesn't understand at all
Joe cut out.
the importance of, like, this whole warrior code, honor stuff. All goes right over her head. It's silly. Why do people want to go out and get themselves killed for their titles and names? Just buy one.
So much beauty, so little brain.
It's not, she's quite intelligent. She was, the idea of going out and fighting to prove your name is stupid.
Yes, apologies, my lady. I am not quite used to traveling another one of stature or who isn't loyal to me.
Well, as it so happens, I can pay for my own entry.
But I already paid.
And you simply did not have the right to, darling.
So what,
You
is
are
she gonna
correct.
bring him back?
No, she walks over to the guard and then says, Lady Marie d'Espagnol of the Merchant House d'Espagnol. And he, wait, I do know that name.
Oh my gosh.
There's a trade house here that operates under that. You are of that house? And of course. He seems struck by the concept.
Is she adopted?
She told you that her family is a merchant family and that they trade in Marienburg.
Yeah, but I didn't know they were not giants.
That's not what she said. Giants can hire humans. You can own a company and not work there physically yourself. He's confused, but he recognizes the name and is like, very well. You're paying simply for yourself, I guess. I assumed you were part of. I made assumptions. For you, it should be 5 gold. To which she then reaches to her large purse at her belt and pulls out a single gold coin the size of a dinner plate and hands it to him. And he's just holding this giant gold coin, like awkwardly just. He like looks at all the other guards. They look at like the little box that you keep the coins in. They're all just,
Titus smiled, laughs a little bit.
He hands it to one of the other guards. He's like, go lock that up in the guardhouse or something. That should cover it, milady. Please enjoy your stay. He really just doesn't know what to do. He's super confused. To which, waves you on, and literally, like, things have basically gone quiet other than the sound of the miscellaneous animals around you, because everyone is just staring silently at this odd spectacle.
Lady Marie, have you ever been in a human town before?
Not in some time, but I have. She starts walking forward, her long strides carrying her well far ahead of you.
I mean, she did say she's sticking with us, right? Like, do we have to tell her when we are leaving?
She's looking over her shoulder. Are you not coming in?
Besides that part.
Titus composes himself and then continues onward.
As you start to get to the portcullis, you see that she's, like, it comes up to just below her neck. And she's like, I always forget how cramped all your human villages are. You see her perform some kind of spell. She traces runes in the air that appear, and then she proceeds to start shrinking. She does not make herself human-sized. She's just, but she'd be like a very large human. But she's definitely more. She could go inside buildings now and stuff. She's essentially like a 7-foot tall blue lady.
Oh.
But like the same height as Allie.
I had my suspicions to possess such magic.
Goliath.
Yeah, she does a quick double check and makes sure that nobody around her is taller than her. And then she... Actually, is anyone over 7 foot?
I think Mesley was.
Guess I was about the only one. So I'm 6'9".
Oh, I'm to 6.
No, it was. I don't know, maybe 7 foot. But I thought he was shorter than you, and then it was Allie after you, at
yeah,
like 6'10", and then Koila at 6'11".
Tallest one here right now is, I do believe, Allie, who is just short of Lady Marie now.
Fascinating. Well, we must deliver this dragon's head to the Lord.
So, enter Marienburg, your cart falling behind, and nobody's even noticed the fact that there's a dragon's head in your cart because everybody's too focused on the fact that they just a 16-foot tall what's 16 feet, right? 18-foot tall giant enter the city. Once she's inside the city, I mean, the people who didn't see it just kind of give a more odd look as they walk by at the blue lady. She's still freakishly tall by their standards. So you guys head up to the keep.
Yeah.
Yep, it's time not to waste the Lord's time.
Yeah.
You request an audience with the Lord, and the fact that Titus is noble in and of himself manages to get smooth things out, and you'll be able to see the Lord probably within the hour. So they usher you to a nice waiting room where they wait on you, bring little snacks and drinks, and finally they bring you into the main hall where the Lord sits there waiting. Also, you were not able to bring the green dragon head in with you unless you carry it, typically.
How many people would it take to
Well, I mean, one person could probably carry it by themselves with a strength check. It would
Just you.
It would just be kind of awkward, like having your hands all the way around it.
I will ask Allie to assist with it.
With the two of you, you won't need a strength check. So, yep, all the servants who've come through look like, oh, someone killed the dragon. Oh, this is great news, and it's quite obvious when you walk in what you are here to report.
The dragon is dead, my lord.
I see that, and it looks like you weren't wasting my time. Have you finished hunting him down?
Indeed, he should not be bothering you or your lands any longer.
Very well. I shall have them bring out the chest immediately.
Do you wish to keep the head as a prize?
Well, if you're willing to part with it.
I have no use for such a thing.
Yeah, don't take it, please.
The dragon head would look mighty nice on one of the castle walls.
Indeed. Talk of
Okay,
any
so-
party for sure.
He motions over some more servants to go and take the head from Thorkel and Allie. And they don't have as easy of a time, but they get four of them around it and they start. Yeah. And after a few moments more, you see two servants come out carrying what looks to be a relatively hefty chest. And they open it up and you see it is filled to the brim with gold pieces.
Ooh.
It's not or 10,000 gold, so it's 2,000 for everyone, not including Allie.
Just the 10,000.
Yep, it's 2,000 for everyone.
Oh, I thought you were saying an additional 2,000 on top of 10,000.
Oh no,
Yes. So they hand out the gold. I'm assuming that for the most part, you guys do not have room to just to take it out and shove it all.
no, certainly no. We're gonna carry the head out.
First thing that
I mean, I do have a bag of holding.
I cannot carry 10,000 pieces of gold.
That's a lot of weight.
regardless, you're all dismissed. And they let you take the chest.
Good day, my lord. I'm gonna take my leave with the rest of my party. And Lady Marie, if she was here.
She was. I mean, it's not like she has much else to do.
So are we outside now?
You are now outside the keep.
I looked to Titus and I asked him, that one was not Venom Fane, was it?
Probably not.
What's the good thing you didn't tell him about the other dragon?
No, we told him about him. He flew away. I just said your dragon is dead. And then I gave him the dragon head, therefore it's his dragon.
Alright,
It was in his lands. Dead dragon. Money.
as long as Venom Fang doesn't return.
Oh, we're not done with Van and Fing yet.
Titus suddenly feels his paladin powers drained from him.
I figured.
I'm,
I didn't really want to say all that, but
I'm actually surprised you didn't mention This was a different one we fought.
I already mentioned that dragon. He ran out. And then there was another dragon. I can make those connections that it's possible this is another dragon. This dragon was the one we've seen.
Also, it was much bigger.
That it was.
No, I mean, I can make a connection that this could have been the dragon that was reported originally.
Or it could have been something.
That's also technically possible.
Is it Ben and Tang?
Could have been one of the two.
I'm not going to blatantly tell you. Fun in that.
Yeah. Okay.
But the chest. The wagon.
All right.
I mean, I'll take my 2,000 out of it though.
Uncountable that.
1, 2, 3. Oh, let's count.
Right. Anywhere else you guys can go, or anything else you're gonna do while you're in Marienburg?
Ooh, book dude.
Book dude.
Yeah, Frenchie.
Frenchie?
Yeah, the guy who originally came to see
Oh, for the...
the book dude. Genevieve, Sandrine, one, the black.
To get the mission from him to get the book.
You'll see. Need it.
Let's do it. Is there an address on the...
In a wall. That's all it says. His house and the
All right. So you guys know that Marienburg is split essentially into two parts. There's the inner city, which was the original part of the city. And it was a walled city even back then. So there's that's essentially where the nobles live. It's the equivalent of the upper quarter in Portsmouth. And then there's the outer city that was built more recently and is where more common folk live, as well as where some of the slums are. And then another wall was built outside that. And with the way things are going, given another few years, there's going to end up being a third wall at this rate, because they are still building now outside the walls.
Well, technically,
No, it's not like huge fields within.
But still. So,
they have free wall.
taking my powers, how would I go to regain them?
You didn't actually lose your powers.
Okay. Well, I didn't really feel like I lied there.
I mean, you didn't technically lie, because that also was not the most honest deed you did.
Here's see.
Yes, you guys start heading towards the inner city, which isn't too far from the entrance to the keep. But there is another set of doors and another set of guards. And as you approach, they ask you, "What's your business within the inner city?"
We want to talk to a dude about a book.
All out the notice.
Seems legitimate enough. Adventurers looking for work and whatnot. Alright. They wave you in, and it's not in the same manner as Portsmouth, where they have lawns and everything, because Marienburg is far too congested. But the houses are of a significantly better quality. You notice less boards being used to patch things, and there's no random beggars on the roads or anything. The roads are also cleaner. There's no puddles or dirt. Everything is clean cobblestone.
Pretty. I like it.
And as you enter, Lady Marie comments, "I'm fairly certain that my family's branch of our trade business is somewhere within this area. I've never been to the one in Marienburg.
Well, we can certainly stop there if you prefer.
I mean, only if you want to buy something. I don't feel any particular need to."
About that, how did your family come into its wealth? If you don't mind me asking.
As it so happens, it's very hard for pirates to attack flying houses.
The original.
Houses.
What?
cloud. Cloud is literally in the name.
Yes, I'm aware, but I enjoy this character.
They're not particularly fast compared to some of the ships that roam the oceans, but if you want a safe shipment, and are willing to wait for it, there isn't a better option, I'd say. Though I have heard as of late that we might have something soon to be concerned about.
Oh,
What?
Rumors on the wind or more trustworthy source?
Well, a little of both. We know for a fact that the engineers of the Imperial Engineering College have finalized and begun production, as well as the commercial sale of their airships. It's that commercial sale part I'm a little concerned about.
oh.
What does all that mean?
Well, simply that someone might get it in their right mind, so to speak, that they can privateer the skies.
Sky Pirates. Final Fantasy.
Yuck.
Talk with pointy bits.
I got your plans right here.
Okay. I don't think Brian understood the reference of what pointy bits are. I'm sorry, Joe. Sorry.
Term is spiky bits.
The
I was referencing.
That's why I said that.
there's parody kind of thing. Anyway, I could imagine that'd be a crash. That'd be a devastating blow to any economy of pirates or privateers or any villain, so to speak, got their hands on such a thing.
From what I've been told, they've already sold some of their own designs.
To who? Are they producing these already?
Yes, they've now got their finalized military standards product that they are mass producing for the sake of the Imperial Army. Some of their earlier models that they were more so testing have now been sold to individuals, obviously with wealth.
Anyone you know specifically?
I don't know any names, I'm afraid.
I would think that we do well to keep this in our mind, keep this in mind in our travels. But nevertheless, we should continue forward. Anyone need to stop at the anyone want to check out that merchant guild?
I mean, I don't think any of us are going to buy anything, and that's the only reason why she'd want to stop. So, should we just continue on to the book guy?
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys head into the inner city, and you ask around a bit, asking in reference to one Genevieve, Sandrine Dudonné, and they tell you you can find the house of Dudonné further in. After a few streets, you see a fairly decent-sized manor house with a gate around it.
A gate. So is there guards, or do we just knock?
There are not guards,
Is the gate unlocked?
not that you can tell,
Is there anyone inside?
not that you see.
So, is
Is
it
there any
like,
other instructions on the paper?
is the gate itself like a solid door or double door, or is it more like a metal box?
It's bars.
Okay. Is there like a buzzer?
You look around, and you see that there appears to be some kind of rune etched into the side of one of the gates.
Huh? What kind of rune?
Not a rune that you're overly familiar with.
Are you sure?
I go and touch it.
Alright, you touch the rune, and
It's nephew.
And after about a minute, you see someone leave the front door and head towards the gate.
So, towards us.
Yes,
Be it man or woman?
he's a man. He appears to be a butler. He reaches the gate and asks, what, he asks, is your business with the House of Dudonné?
I present the notice. We adventurers looking to inquire about a job.
Ah, of course. Well, allow me to usher you in. And he unlocks the gate after pulling out a set of keys and lets you in, leads you inside. Once you're inside, it's very dim.
But still, like, see throughable.
You can see, but
Oh my gosh, guys, there's a vampire in here.
it's candle lit. All the windows are completely have complete curtains blocking them. What are the term for those curtains?
Shades.
Well, there's a specific term for when they block out all light.
Blackout.
Blackout curtains.
There's no foyer, is there?
There's not a foyer.
Good.
Tara's on here, so
But yes, the butler ushers you into a side room where there are several very overstuffed couches and chairs, as well as a nice little enjoyably warm fireplace.
I guess I'll take a seat.
Don't sit until he tells us we can sit down.
He ushered you guys in.
Oh, okay.
I assume he kind of gestured for us to wait here.
I stand behind Titus.
After that, he then proceeds to wander off.
To wander off.
Anybody got any garlic? Silver, maybe?
technically Brian could pull garlic out of that.
While we're waiting. Allie, how do you feel about your armor?
It is quite-
And your weapon, does it suit you?
It works.
I believe I had not asked beforehand.
Also, Lady Marie is looking around this place and just... The cologne here is absolutely dreadful.
Gosh, even.
So this would be a bad time to cast a spell of daylight.
I mean, maybe.
You just cast light.
Can you imagine we're here for a job? Hello! Ah! So no job?
But honestly, the decorum in here is simply dreadful.
Do you recognize it?
I don't
Why
want to
would you recognize? Why would she recognize such a thing? Clearly, she's of
You
higher
never
standards.
know.
Hmm.
So we're all just sitting and waiting.
Essentially.
Cool. Do we notice anything in the room?
Yeah, I suppose we should take
mean-
a look around.
There's a fair few nice paintings and other just art pieces, essentially.
What about the centerpiece?
It appears to be a very nice glass inlaid coffee table.
I mean, do we want this dude to have this book, really? Or would it maybe be better to get the book and then, like, burn it?
Why are you so suspicious? Or skeptical, or...
I mean, there's gotta be one of us at least, because I don't think it's gonna be you.
But... What evidence do you have to back up such a feeling?
It's dark in here. He has no windows. Everything's candle lit. It's super dim. Like, are there any mirrors, Joe?
There are not any mirrors.
Yeah, see?
Spot?
Have you even met a vampire?
No.
And as a druid, wouldn't you be, you know, I get maybe not necessarily lacking for books, but would vampires be, maybe they're common knowledge, but I would think otherwise, I guess.
I mean, people are aware that, like, there are definitely stories about them and stuff.
Why aren't you suspicious of this?
I'd rather trust someone at their word rather than...
Well, that's dumb.
But-
People lied, Titus, you know.
I suppose I cannot argue with that. But then should it not be our duty to uphold ourselves to a higher standard?
Yeah, but all I'm saying is we should, like, be prepared that they lie, is all I'm saying.
Well, regardless, after about, like, 7 minutes of deliberation amongst you, you suddenly realize that there's someone standing in the archway leading into the room, and none of you ever remember seeing them walk up.
Because he floated there.
Well,
Okay, sorry.
first and foremost,
She...
yes, it is a woman with very pale skin and fair hair.
Oh, she's got those multicolored eyes. Wait.
Make perception rolls.
Damn.
Watch out.
So Xenofia and Beck both notice that you can't really tell what color her eyes are. It feels like every time you look, they're a different color.
Can I be suspicious now, Titus?
No!
Titus doesn't notice that fact.
Obviously.
Alright, well, what color of eyes does it, like, appear to me?
For
You
you,
don't notice.
Well, I can see your eyes, though.
she appears to have blue eyes.
Oh, so they're not multicolored. Well, that's less interesting.
They don't appear to be multicolored.
Not to you.
So you're gonna say hi, leader, or what?
Let's stand up. Give a little bow. Present myself as Titus Valerius of the House Valerius. This is... Alright, gesture to Lady Marie. Give her a few seconds if she wants to introduce herself. If she doesn't, then I'll introduce her myself.
Well, she's clearly caught off guard that she didn't realize somebody was standing there until just now. And she simply responds with, I feel it is unfair that Lord Titus here has introduced himself when you were apparently just standing there. You did not even announce yourself. This is not your home.
Any response?
Give me a second.
Okay.
You broke him, Sandra.
It's like, nope, she's a mute. Damn.
You broke her. You broke him.
How would I do that if it's Joe literally talking to himself?
Don't open.
Of course. How rude of me. I am Genevieve Sandrine Dupont de la Dudonnet, and I am the mistress of this house. I'm trying really hard to get into a French accent, okay?
Oh, she's French. Ugh.
With a name like that, how would you not?
And from what I've been told, you are here looking for the jobs that I posted? I'm switching into other accents, trying to think French.
Indeed, that is our aim.
She starts walking around the room, and once again, Xenofia and Beck notice that you don't hear her footsteps. You seem like a capable bunch. No?
We have certainly held her out in many situations.
Tell me, what are your skills exactly?
Well, to talk of trials, I am a paladin of, well, the Order of the Gauntlet. I specialize in dealing with undead or evil. I suppose. Anyone else want to talk about themselves? Or will I be just going over everyone else?
No, I mean, our skills are basically just adventuring combat and...
We've handled many situations, from combat to survival, even striking deals between two otherwise hostile parties. We've been to different lands now, met even stranger people, and we've taken it all in stride. We
So
have certainly... Oh, sorry.
So you have traveled far?
How far are we from the northern frontier?
I mean, you're at the opposite end of the Empire at this point.
And yes, I would assume I myself
Travel away.
hail from the northern frontier of the Empire.
Come from the Nordland?
Aren't they bordering the Nordlands?
I mean, that's just literally that she's saying you're from the Northern Lands.
Yes.
That's not a specific name.
Okay. But yes, I am.
Well, that would explain your Norskin friend, she says, looking at Thorkel.
That's my dad.
Not actually saying that hard.
Sam and I talked, and we're thinking that it's more like a father-son kind of affiliation between Thorkel and Titus.
I more so thought cool uncle.
That's our
I mean, I'm okay with the uncle part, but cool?
Where did? Maybe.
Originally, I was... I'm sorry.
He's the cool uncle. When your parents tell you to do homework, he takes you out to throw axes and stuff.
I would make him a cool uncle.
Why don't you go from thoraxes?
But originally, I was thinking brother, but Sam had said more like a father figure. And I guess maybe it's kind of like a mix between that, because apparently Thorkel and my brother are only a couple years apart.
But she finishes looking at Titus and Thorkel and walks over to Beck. And there's one from so far south as well. You are a very unique group, after all. And she sees Etzley, even though he's currently not here, but she sees Etzley and is like, and one even from the New World. And finally she comes over, she comes over to Xenafia. And you are quite far from home, Elf, are you not?
Indeed.
From what I recall, your kind do not travel frequently. You consider the land to be sacred, and so, why would you ever leave it?
Wasn't exactly given a choice, but since I have now left, I find adventuring useful.
Ah, but of course. And finally she goes over to Lady Marie. And exactly what is one of your household doing with such ruffians? To which Lady Marie just responds, I go where I please.
She doesn't even say anything about Allie, huh?
Oh, yeah, sorry. She does comment on Allie of, and you seem to have a pet beastman.
Pet? She is
She
my
said.
companion. Nothing more, nothing less.
She simply shrugs her shoulders. Well, if nothing else, you are an interesting bunch. I do not know how capable you are, but if you are willing to go looking for the book that I have asked, then I am willing to pay you. But, as Lady Marie, she says, and Lady Marie looks caught a little off guard that she already knows who she is, suggested, I have introduced myself now. Would the rest of you be so kind as to introduce yourselves?
Well, I've already introduced myself, so you guys go ahead.
As you stated, I am far from home. I am Xenafia. I know the way of nature and use it to take care of my friends and companions, and also to harm those that get in my way.
Bring righteous fury to those who have wronged us. Thorkel, don't be shy.
And I be Thorkel, Axleg. Obviously, I hit things with me axe.
Do you hit things or do you kick things?
I can do both.
A man of many talents, I see. She is, like, very clearly smiling at this. Also, Lady Marie is clearly, like, looking away, but you're pretty sure she's trying really hard not to giggle.
I mean, Titus is laughing at it. He's enjoying it.
Etzley says that he's looking for someone that killed his tribe, and in the meantime needs a means of surviving in this land, and that Titus pays well.
Allie, and yourself?
This one belongs to her master. She points to Titus. This one belongs to the chief by right of conquest.
He conquered me.
Lady Marie suddenly looks over, like, eyes wide. She looks to Allie, then looks to Titus, and looks back to Allie. And, Genevieve just goes, oh, I guess she is not a pet.
Want to tell about how you brought her to see the farm animal?
Let's all introduce Beck.
I'm Beck. I'm a cleric of the grave. And that's it.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Her eyes slightly narrow as she looks at Beck, but then she looks back to everyone else.
I freaking told you.
Told me that she's a vampire? Or have you just been telling Titus we should be suspicious?
The second we walked in there, I said it's a vampire.
Okay, but doesn't make her evil.
I never said that. I just think it's good to be on our guard.
No, gotta be on guard. She can't spies attack me anyways.
I'll properly introduce Ellie as Ellie Halfhorn. Yes,
Okay.
she serves me by right of conquest in terms of battle.
I see. That kind of conquest.
What kind of conquest did you initially think of?
She just waves her hand and says, nothing.
Well,
And Lady Marie is like kind of just got a okay look, like looking at off to the corner. Just that makes more sense, but okay, still odd. But back to the matter at hand. I have a map that you may take. It shows the location of an ancient tomb, and within it you will find undead and other things that should be put down. I believe that might interest your southern friend over there.
talking to you back.
Yeah, I know.
Well, she's
Right.
talking to Titus, but she's referencing
Oh.
back.
Well, yeah.
But, as I stated, if you can find the book I'm looking for, I shall gladly pay you all. And to incentivize you, here's your initial payment. And then she gestures at a table in the back room, and you all realize that there are now several small sacks of gold laid out. You don't remember those being there.
Some kind of hootamaggot, that's what it is.
Paying us in advance. You're the very generous, Krusty. Or perhaps it is something else. Do you not worry that we might fail?
Such a small sum is of no worry to me.
Very well then. We accept the quest and we will go there post-haste.
Sorry, what was that?
We said we will accept the quest and we will adventure there post-haste. Once, of course, we prepared ourselves.
Very well. Well, you know where the door is. You may help yourself out.
Yeah, well, I have no problem with that. Take my leave after a bow.
She simply stands in that room and waits for you to head out the door.
Yeah. Everyone calm.
Aye.
Yeah.
Everybody starts to head out. And as you turn to shut the door behind you, who wants to shut the door?
Ah, crap. I'll shut the door.
All right, as you turn to shut the door, when you were leaving, she was in that room, but as you shut the door, you realize she's now standing at the top of a staircase, watching you shut the door behind you. But suddenly, as you leave,
Some madman decides to combine. Oh,
Really?
the airship!
I couldn't resist.
Is it the Iron Legion who purchased the airship?
No, it is not the Iron Legion who purchased the airship.
Is there actually an airship?
No, there is not currently an airship.
Oh,
I was like waiting on to use that after I introduced it. I was really tempted to actually wait and use that for the first time you saw an airship. People of the Commonwealth, do not be afraid.
good then. I would imagine we're all. Well, what time of the day is it?
It's currently going on noon.
No, I imagine that we'll might have some shopping to do, and perhaps later today we should meet up at a tavern to discuss our how we intend to handle this.
Also, as you were walking out of the estate, like walking back to the streets, Lady Marie leans over towards Zenafia and says, "Lady in there, she was disturbing, right?"
Extremely. I don't suppose you know anything about the myths of vampires.
I mean, I've heard stories about them, but assume they were that, just stories.
As did I, but
I'm just a little concerned that Titus is so trusty.
oh, thank goodness it's not just me. Yeah, I mean, we'll look at the mission and figure out what we're doing, and we'll just watch our backs while we do it.
But yes, and you guys are now standing in the street outside the manor.
And as I said, if anyone needs to take time to get prepared, check out your gear, get everything fixed, then we could meet back up at the, what was it called? Taste of Fire. Unless Lady Marie would prefer a more upstanding establishment.
Well, I'm not exactly familiar with the locale, so would you consider the Taste of Fire to be particularly worthy of our palate, Titus?
I know it's very busy. Was it rowdy or boisterous in there?
Not as much as some others, but it is still a tavern aimed at like adventurers and whatnot.
Our palates, perhaps, though I think you might prefer something a little more refined.
You're not implying that you're going to be eating with the rabble, are you?
I mean, I guess it would depend on your definition of rabble.
Just turning into a camel in the middle of the lunchroom. Dinner is rabble.
Are you saying that out loud?
No.
You're of a noble house, Titus. I can understand when you're on the road, traveling with your companions, but you're of noble blood. That affords you certain privileges, does it not?
1 second.
Oh, you've... She leans in a little closer so that only Titus can hear. Your family hasn't fallen on hard times, has it? I'm not asking too much of your family's finances, am I?
Certainly.
I didn't mean to assume.
Certainly not. It is more that my family has always has always lived and adhered to certain rules.
Well, that's simply
The
the way of the
values.
aristocracy, darling.
These values, I swear I had it written on my bio and I'm trying to find it. Defense of the common folk, great strides towards betterment and lives of all people. And then the ideals, good soldier follows orders, but the better man follows his heart. A strong mind tempered by an unbending will, a noble spirit born from a passionate soul, and strength to protect the ideals of the Valerius.
You see her put her hands together, kind of furrow her brows slightly, and look at you and just go, "That's rather less than fabulous, darling." It sounds like your family takes the concept of noblesse oblige a little more to heart than others.
Where I'm from, if we had not been able to stand together, we would not have stood at all.
She just shrugs her shoulders. This is your adventuring company. I shall let you lead it as you like. After all, you are interesting.
Wait, hold on. While you're talking here, if we weren't interesting, she'd be leading us?
No, the only reason she's here is because she finds her group entertaining. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be following you around.
Alright. Well then, it's a taste of fire.
You guys head back to the outer city, over to the Taste of Fire. It's nowhere near as busy as it was when it first opened, but it's still a relatively busy place, and moderately boisterous. Marie looks very judgmental.
Perfectly fine, I suppose. Is there a line to get seated?
There is not this time around.
Well then, we'll go to get this checked in then, I suppose.
Very well. You go to get checked in. The initial cheaper prices are no longer in effect.
So,
Well, maybe that'll make her happy, spending more money.
she's a merchant, and I think they would prefer the deals.
But she's also of nobility. I think if she feels like she has to spend more money, maybe it's a better place.
I guess that's up to the person. Regardless, purchasing rooms.
What type of rooms? Well, currently, there are 2 of the suites available, which are now back up to their fully marked price of 30 gold a night. And she's currently got 5 of just the standard private rooms for 10 gold apiece. And of course, there's room in the common room if you're willing to pay the 3 gold for the common.
Well, I will certainly be taking one of the suites. I won't pay for her this time.
Lady Marie steps forward and asks, "What exactly does your suite entail?" Not the bartender, the owner and proprietor. She looks at Lady Marie and seems a little curious at the fact that she's blue, but she's seen weird things in her lifetime. She's an adventurer.
Just need a camel to show up at her bar.
But yes, Amrita says, well, we've got running water, and you can actually get it hot or cold, as well as a king-sized bed. The walls are the rooms are properly furnished. There is well-cushioned furniture from the stuffed with the finest cotton from the Caliphate.
Cotton?
She talks it through. It sounds pretty nice. And after talking it up, Lady Marie finally goes, well, I suppose that is acceptable. And this time she reaches for a different coin purse on her belt and pulls out 3 platinum pieces and lays them on the counter.
Are they big?
No, they're not. What of everyone else?
I'm just taking the common room.
All right, 3 gold.
Yeah, just common's fine.
Oh,
Well, you know, I don't usually like sleeping in hotel rooms, so I'm just gonna go, like, outside.
all right, you're allowed to do that.
She's gonna live
Darn
the
right
whole-
I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. I turn into Campbell and whatnot.
Well, everyone is paid for their rooms, right? But it is still relatively early in the day.
Do we take a table and talk about our plan?
Probably about June 30 right about now, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Well, we can go do our shopping now and reconvene here. If everyone prefer that, otherwise, yes, we could get a table now.
Are you going to order anything?
I was asking if anyone wanted to do their shopping first, or if they just want to eat now.
I don't have any shopping to do.
There's nothing I need. None of my spells take opponents, but if just die.
I'm gonna need holy water and maybe some potions of healing eventually, but
If you need to go shopping, go shopping.
we can do that after we eat, I suppose.
Okay, so what are you guys going to be buying?
What is the special for today?
I mean, their special is always curry. That's their special, period.
Curry! Alright, yeah. Take some curry. Get 2 plates for Ellie this time.
It's a 32.
Of just the meat and rice that she wanted.
That was what she preferred.
Yep. And get 2 of their finest ale. One for myself and Ellie.
All right, bring out their finest ales.
Anyone else ordering? Or am I ordering for everyone?
I'll just take whatever is vegetarian, so like a salad. If there is such a thing.
They have salads.
Okay. I will have a
No, salads were invented until 19th century.
So everybody orders food. Lady Marie also orders a salad.
Technically, I can just make my food, but
She considers it to be less than enjoyable, but I suppose it's doable. And as everybody begins eating and drinking and chowing down, Lady Marie proceeds to ask, would any of you care to take in a much finer drink that I just so happen to have?
Certainly.
She pulls out a bottle of what looks to be some kind of golden liquid that almost glows from within.
What?
Is it
God!
Just an alcoholic beverage I've come across, referred to as Yam's Choice.
Are you guys gonna drink it?
I mean, yeah. If she offered, then it would be rude of us to not accept.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I'll take a sip.
All right. It tastes extremely good. It's a sort of like very sweet. You would almost describe it as tasting. It's reminiscent of butterscotch, you would say.
Xanathia has now become an alcoholic.
Butterscotch. I love butterscotch.
How much is everyone drinking? Do you finish? She pours everyone a full tankard.
I mean, yeah, I'll drink the entire tankard. I wouldn't want to waste anything.
Yeah, same.
Beck?
Yeah, I don't want any. I don't like butterscotch.
Alright. Titus, Thorkel, and Zanafia make wisdom saving throws.
Aha! But you're all near me, so that +4.
Just so it's out there. I have advantage against being charmed, and magic can't put me to sleep.
Make your wisdom saving throw.
Thank you.
The magic. Still roll the 4 or an 8.
So Zanafia looks to be perfectly fine. Titus and Thorkel each you roll a d100.
Even though I'm at 23?
Oh, you'd be at 23?
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, no. Just Thorkel roll a d100. So 19.
Is Allie drinking?
Allie drinks as well. She considers it to be too sweet personally, but she does finish it. In which case... So, both Allie and Thorkel, you start seeing... Well, actually, no. Thorkel, you start seeing everyone around you as if all their eyes are, like, now cat eyes. It's very uncomfortable and disconcerting. And I'm not talking like, you know, like the little... I'm talking like the real big, wide-eyed cat eyes. The Puss in Boots look.
This could get ugly.
What about Lady Maria herself?
Oh, she didn't drink any.
Oh, wow! You should have.
What for you to ask?
Let's just to enjoy herself, I assume. Have a good time.
Oh, this stuff.
She's smiling. And she's looking directly at Thorkel as he's just like Thorkel's like looking at everyone kind of nervously, and she's kind of smiling to herself.
They suddenly start barking, buddy.
What? What? Settle down, boy.
Quiet, feline.
Do we need a repeat of our last session?
Just pull a bone out of the bag and throw it.
Why don't you bring it, little man?
Perhaps another time. We are in the esteemed company. What is Allie?
Nice.
The eye. Her man smart. I won't be laughing.
Allie keeps like looking over her shoulder and like is looking very suspiciously at everyone at like other tables and things like that.
Oh.
Go back to looking at her food and drink, and all of a sudden she'll look over her shoulder again, trying to figure out, like starts looking at all the other tables, like she's trying to figure something out, but she can't. And she goes back to her food.
How are you feeling, Allie?
There is someone talking about. I can hear them, but I cannot tell who it is.
What are they saying?
They are saying that I am weak.
Lies, Allie. Lies. Don't listen to them.
Then surely you cannot be hearing anyone, for you are not weak.
Ooh, in this state, we should go like send her over to that dude. What's his name? The dark elf that has problems.
Oh, the dark elf. Do you mean the one,
High elf, but yeah,
the crazy guy? Yeah,
the paranoid high elf.
yeah. Well, I'm not down for that. I don't know what he can do, but I don't want to risk Allie's life.
That's all. It's
We can send Thorkel.
There is someone here that is telling me, or not, is speaking of me. They say that I must be weak, for I am in service to a pink man thing.
A pink man.
Very fair.
Man, the cat eyes.
Then I would simply face them myself and prove them otherwise, or prove them wrong.
After like a solid minute of this, Allie kind of goes, "It has stopped. I do not hear them." And then she just kind of shrugs. Thorkel, make another wisdom save. Roll a d20.
God.
He's gonna get dementia.
Suddenly feel like all of your clothing is really itchy, if not outright like hot, and you feel compelled to take it all off.
Yes! Strip!
Down, enough. I'm gonna restrain him. I'm gonna ask Ansley to help me restrain him.
I whip out my bag of holding and start throwing coins at him.
But yes, Joe, I attempt to take my clothes off. It's very itchy, and the cats. That's all that needs.
He's turning into a cat.
I'm gonna restrain or attempt to restrain him.
You have advantage from Etzley's help. Make opposed strength check. So Titus is so Thorkel like scoots out of the booth. You know, you're all wondering what he's doing. And he just starts like, first he takes off like his vest or whatever. You're like, oh, okay. And he starts taking his shirt off, and you're like, what are you doing, Thorkel? And he starts like undoing his pants, and Titus like jumps out. Etzley pushes Thorkel towards Titus. Titus like, just attempts to bear hug Thorkel and hold his arms back, like pulling his arms away from his pants. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Hell is it to you, man?
It's the cats and the fleas!
Look, the Lady Marie, what was in that?
Oh, it's just a very potent alcohol.
Do you have another? Because this is honestly been enjoyable.
I mean, she's still got more in the bottle.
Let's do it.
We'll save this for another time then. Till then.
Suppose I should explain. It just so happens that if you come under the influence of it, you might perceive rather interesting hallucinations, so to speak. It has senses.
And I would believe you are finding this entertaining.
Oh, quite.
Very well then, as long as that is the purpose and nothing more.
So, Thorkel is affected by this for the next 43 hours.
God. That means you have to keep track of
It varies what he thinks is happening, but every so often you just get to decide that he rolls on this table.
Oh God. This could not end well.
We have to get into this room. Yeah.
I'm still scratching.
Yeah, we're gonna try and
Yep.
bring Thorkel to his room. I'll ask Allie and Ansley to help me with this.
This is quite awkward for you. We're making a scene. I'm shirtless. And
Yeah.
trying to unbutton my belt.
Allie helps you grab a hold of Thorkel, and she does look over. It's like, I do not understand why you will not let him be. He should be doing what comes to him.
And he can do so within his own room.
In the common room,
Is it? It's a public room?
it's literally just a room filled with bugs.
Yeah. I don't want to see that.
Single one
Yeah,
room
well-
with bugs.
Fine, no, that's fine, that's fine. Let him be himself there.
All right. So Edsley like collects his clothes, and you guys bring it in there. You just pick a random bed and throw his stuff on it. Thorkel, roll another d20. You suddenly become afraid that Pog is back, and he's trying to steal toenails.
He's trying to what?
Hold?
Is this on top of him trying to still strip himself?
No, each time it changes. You're not.
Okay.
The last one goes away, but now you're concerned that Pog is somewhere in town because you dropped him off, and he's trying to take your toenails from you.
Let me now's.
Yeah.
I'm curled up on the bed now. I look underneath the bed, Pog. You can't have me now's.
What on earth are you talking about?
It's Pog. He's back.
He's back!
He's back.
He wants my nails. My toes.
What?
Wants. He wants my toenails.
Lady Marie calls you over there, and she's just like holding her hand in front of her mouth, trying really hard not to be. It's obvious that she's laughing to herself, but she's trying to not look too indisposed because of it.
I begin checking under the rest of the beds.
I'll go over to Lady Marie and kind of lean over and whisper to her. If you have another bottle, I'll purchase it.
Ugh! I'm not sure if I want to part with it right now.
Why did
We'll
that
find-
your wisdom?
Well, he won't drink it again if he doesn't trust you.
I have my ways, darling.
Alright. Okay. I have faith in your abilities.
It's only like 2 in the afternoon as of right now, by the way.
Well,
Just had to be a wisdom.
anyone staying here with Thorkel?
I will greatly entertained if next time Sam actually gets drunk, he thinks like there's a D&D character after his toenails.
Please don't. Tyler will do it. Give Tyler the
Oh,
idea.
too bad Tyler missed out on this. We'll have to get him to drink a cup next time.
And hope he fails a wisdom save.
Yeah.
Knowing him,
I'll
I
have-
probably will.
I'll have to be more than 10 feet away from him so he doesn't get my bonus.
Here, take it. Before you drink it, let me go stand way over there. Anyone else can do anything? You guys have finished your food and your drink. Oracle's in the room checking underneath all the bunks.
It's beautiful. No, I'm done doing things, and I guess we Thorkel won't be useful for the next
2 days, babe.
hours. So
Oh, she's not used to it anyways.
Almost 2 days.
Jeez. Right. Said post haste, and here we are. That's what it is. I'm afraid to take him out on a journey. He might just like wake up to sweat and just have to search for little Timmy in the woods and get lost.
Hey, we found Timmy in the forest, okay? He was dead.
He was dead.
and then
Well, I guess I need to go do a little bit of shopping. I don't really want to miss out on this though. Does anyone have a leash? And a harness?
shopping will fill you in.
Titus reluctantly takes his leave.
Alright, where do you head?
I need to see about armor for my horse. So I would see a blacksmith or a stablery.
Alright, well, you head
Oh,
to
we gotta check the blacksmith first.
Alright, you head to the blacksmith. And they tell you that you need to head closer towards the gate, where they sell the livestock and stuff.
Ah,
Armor for a celestial horse that will just disappear.
yeah. But I don't.
But the armor would not disappear.
Then I'll just
You have to pick
jump
up
it again and put the armor back on it.
Okay.
Is there such thing as like celestial armor?
No. And yes, that would mean that anytime you dismiss your horse, the armor just falls to wherever the horse is flat standing.
But I never dismiss him. He will either die or get broken legs, and then I dismiss him. And that's perfectly fine.
Just like last time.
Yeah, if you head towards the gates where they keep the animals, you can find a couple places that specialize in horse armor.
Let's see, let's pull this up. I think I'll be looking for chainmail. My horse could talk to me, Joe, if you wanted to give it an accent too.
Now Joe just needs a voice modulator to make it all celestial.
So you're looking to get chain for your horse. Well,
I got this thing pulled up with between leather studded ring, scale, chain, splint, and plate.
what is it specifically for horses?
Yep, it's so when you pull up my horse character sheet and I go to bio info, it actually tells me the barding here. And what the AC is relevant to it. It says leather, studded leather, ring mail, scale mail, chain mail, split, and plate.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you how much it would cost.
Oh yeah, no, not the cost.
That's what I'm trying to find.
Oh,
Okay, I think I found it. So, getting chain for your horse is going to cost you 500 gold.
500 gold.
500.
All right. And then I'd like to pick up a couple saddlebags.
Saddlebags are going to cost you 4 gold apiece.
Sounds good to me. Purchase it all then. Have it all equipped to my horse. And be on my way.
All right.
And then, yes, I'd like to pick up some potions of different varieties. And maybe some holy water. Yeah.
You're looking specifically for an alchemist this time.
Yep.
Well, you definitely you find a couple. Are you looking for just like a street vendor? Or you want an actual established store?
Let's go to an established store because I like your characters.
Okay, I was planning on having a character. But...
Okay, you don't need one. You don't need one. It's fine.
All right, you managed to find it. The main difference is that basically store has more variety, but will also have higher prices. Dollar has lower prices, but is less likely to have stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you managed to find an alchemist store.
All right. I'm going to inquire what kind of potions they have in stock then.
And just lots. There's a lot of kinds of potions.
Well, yeah, but we are, my venturing party and I are planning on facing off against some undead in the coming days. Is there anything that would help with that? Other than, healing potions, which I will be picking up. And holy water if you have it.
Well, holy water, that's the kind of thing you buy at a church.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have anything that's specific to dealing with undead.
That's day. Okay. Well, what about anti-paralysis potions?
Yeah, he's got some of those.
I will take 4 of those.
He's going to sell you them for 20 gold apiece.
Hell yeah.
I should have sold them for more.
Yeah, the last store that I bought them from sold them for 40.
Hectic. I didn't have up my price chart for potions.
It's 20, so that's 80, 1774. Alright, and then healing potions.
Well, what kind of healing potion?
There's minor, regular, then large.
There's more than that, but he's asking.
What are regular healing potions?
He's selling them for 50 gold apiece. Yeah, I definitely should have looked.
Yup. Alright, I'll get 6 of those.
Right, sells them to you.
I don't think I'll need anything else, so then I guess thank you for his business and go to find a local church.
Well, there's several of them. There's temples all over town.
Alright, what gods do they serve?
I mean, you can find a temple dedicated to just about any god. This is a major city, so...
I guess I would go to a protector type god.
I mean, find a couple different gods. The primary one, the largest church, is of course going to be dedicated to Iomade, patron goddess of humanity.
That sounds good to me.
Sure went to Anubis. He's better.
Well, there is a massive cathedral in the inner town. Otherwise, there's like smaller chapels all throughout the outer city.
Do you want to go to the massive cathedral? Because I want to ask about potentially getting some sort of resurrection scroll. Not necessarily, like straight up resurrection, but I guess I don't really know the particular varieties of them.
You're gonna head to the inner city.
Yeah.
Right there. The guards see you, stop you, ask what your business is.
Heading to the cathedral.
Nod, let you in.
I'll make my way there.
You see a massive, giant cathedral, hundreds of feet tall, made out of beautiful white marble, and it's got statues dedicated to various saints and everything. The church appears to have its own guards that are dressed in unique uniforms, separate to that of the town guard. There are priests and monks and all sorts of various worshippers going all throughout or doing random things around the church.
Take a few moments to appreciate the architect and the beauty of this amazing structure before heading in.
You head inside, and it is, as I stated, a wonderful cathedral.
I guess I will attempt to find a cleric, which I can speak to about purchasing holy
Cleric.
water. Well, yeah, okay. I guess I'll approach one of them and ask about it.
Right? They tell you that they've got a vendor outside.
Yeah.
It's around the corner in one of the side buildings.
Alright. Guess I'll take a moment to give thanks to the goddess, then head out to the vendor.
All right, you back out, go around the corner like he said, and you see that there is, in fact, a small shop to the side that appears to sell, various symbols, idols of the saints, and holy symbols, things like that, scripture.
I will approach one of the clerks.
I mean, they literally have someone working at.
Okay.
It's literally just like a little shop.
Alright, then I'll approach the clerk.
So what he can get you, or how can he help you?
I would like to purchase 4 vials of holy water, please. And then I would also inquire about if they might have any type of scrolls of resurrections.
Well, he asks how much holy water you want.
4 vials, please.
All right, he pulls 4 out from behind the counter, tells you they're 30 gold apiece.
Oof, now that's hefty. So that's fine.
And he says, in regards to resurrection, that's not the kind of thing that they just sell scrolls for. That's a service provided by the church.
Well, if you cannot sell, then I understand. Then I'll be on my way, I suppose.
All right, you head out.
Then I guess I'll meet up back with everyone.
You head back to Taste of Fire Tavern.
Made it out of there safely. If anyone had known, the cathedral. That's an easy one.
You can roll a D100. You're pretty sure you have a nosebleed, but every time you check, you're not bleeding. Also, after like another half hour of this, realizing that how long it's lasting on you, Lady Marie comes over and performs a spell on you, and your hallucinations lift.
Okay. Am I here yet?
Yeah, you get back, and Thorkel appears to be normal now.
Alright, so what's going on with him now?
That's up to Thorkel.
I'm asking aloud.
Just
Oh, is it worn off already? Is he aware of his hallucination?
Oh yeah, he was aware.
Oh,
And he was even aware that it was because he drank that.
I'm feeling better.
feeling great.
Perhaps another cup later then.
Much later.
Anyways, I made a few purchases. Going to hand everyone the healing potion. Bought 6, so 1 for myself, Kelly, back, Thorkel, Allie, and Etsley. So everyone should have 1 regular healing potion. Anyways, that's really all I had to take care of. So, what should we do? What's the plan? How much detail did you give us about what we're looking for? Okay. I remember something about undead.
So I know it was a tomb or a crypt underneath it.
Did she say who the crypt was? Or what it was purposed for? Oh, it was like... Okay. Maybe we should try and figure that out. Guess I'll go ask one of the owners.
About a crypt?
Yeah, they're adventurers. They've been around. Maybe now they're tavern owners. Maybe they've heard things.
Well,
The one specifically on this map.
Well, they tell you that they know that there's all sorts of ruins dotted across the land, and I mean, one crypt could be as good as the next. It's all sorts of things if you wander around long enough.
Well, not as much as I was hoping to get off them, but it's fine. Time of the day is it? Oh, sorry.
I mean, she gave you a map. It's marked where the crypt is.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was to a particular family, or
And considering it's not in the city and it's pretty far out of the way. It probably doesn't belong to anyone that is still, like, any family that is still around, most likely.
We'll have to find out if it's actually a Imperial build or if it's maybe even Elvish. Or any particular barbarians that once roamed these lands. What time of the day is it now?
Now about, like, 30.
Because I don't have anything left to do.
You guys just decided to call it a day?
I suppose.
Alright. Guys, headed through the inn, in your rooms. Spend the night, get comfortable beds. Also, is Allie staying in your room, Titus?
She sure is.
Alright. As you head up to your suite, and Allie follows, Lady Marie just, a glance over her shoulder and has a bit of a smirk.
I mean, I don't imagine I actually see this.
No,
Sir, Dean, wait,
can we make a perception roll?
Boop, 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 boop.
No, you do notice her.
I'll tilt my head a little bit, curious about what she's thinking. Let's save it for the morning, I suppose.
Everyone retires to bed. You get a good night's sleep.
Well, early morning, gonna get up, obviously. Get ready, get some breakfast.
Downstairs, serve breakfast, get some for yourself and I'm assuming Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Cost you a gold a plate.
That's also, you didn't have us pay anything for the last meal either, by the way.
Per person.
Sweet. Anyone else doing anything? What did I know? We just got 1,000 gold, and then we still have that chest with 10,000 gold. We have to divide up between everyone.
Everyone has gotten 1,000 gold today.
So
Where did the? I thought we got 2,000 for slaying the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd the other 1,000 come from?
Incentive.
Yeah, for being hired. Did you go get this book? Well, I would say we have our chest of gold here secured away, because it's getting kind of worrisome to carry all this money around with us.
We should buy a place.
Yeah, we could do that. Where does everyone want to be based on? I guess we could talk about this while we're eating breakfast.
Do that?
Yeah, we can all land.
While we're off adventure, we can even have it get built and whatever we want. Remember, he wanted to start an orphanage.
Mm-hmm. I actually want to build a village at some point. So does anyone have any particular preferences in terms of the area? Or if it's within a certain distance of a city or a region within the Imperial lands or outside of the Imperial lands? Or...
Well, I'm sure we'll mostly be Imperial, so probably somewhere around.
Alright. Would you prefer closer to a river, or would you prefer closer to the sea? Come on, guys, I need opinions. Yes, okay, I'm the leader, but come on, we all have to live there. I personally prefer something near the sea.
Yeah, you get more food that way. Get some fish.
Or you could just have it an outlet to the sea. So you have access to rivers upwards and
Perfectly fine too, but we're definitely also going to have to think about the location of a forest so we can procure lumber. Not to mention, we definitely going to have to figure out information on any land if we actually decide to settle our own. Or we could go talk to my parents and see if they have land that would be suitable for us. I mean, I'm the heir, so I would eventually own the lands anyway.
I suppose talk to your parents would be needed.
Right, well then, I will, as leader, make a decision then that we will see to my parents first before deciding to settle down somewhere.
First we go venture.
Yes, first we go see about this book. Finish our job.
You guys head out to where the book is.
I'm completely ready to do so. Last chance, if anyone needs to do any shopping. Alright, we head out.
So, you are currently in Marienburg, and it claims that the crypt is right around here. So you can try to find a means of crossing the river closer to Marienburg, otherwise you will have to go all the way up to Balater to take the ferry cross. Because as it stands, there really isn't much reason for people to cross to the other side of the river.
I have no problem going up to Valente.
Lady Marie, you spoke of how you would ferry goods, or how your family would ferry goods over the seas. Would you be so kind as to assist us crossing this river?
Are you looking to employ my services?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Let me double check something here.
Can you raise a land bridge with your druid powers?
She potentially could.
I mean, I would like to continue including Lady Marie,
Yeah, but we don't have to pay.
but
There we go, Andre. We could put the town right there. A little speck.
where?
There's
In the
There.
never mind. Continue.
Alright. So
So-
we'd like to procure your services.
Very well then. She goes up to her little cloud, because you guys have left the city by this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you see her go into her tent up there. And then she comes back down and she hands you a contract. It's titled Independent Contractor Agreement. This independent contract agreement, the agreement, is made and entered into as of blank effective date between
Ready for this?
Yeah, he was hoping.
Did he actually pull out a contract?
No. Blank implying your group and the family, the trade company of D'Espagnol. And then it says the adventurers of blank will hereby referred to collectively as party. And D'Espagnol Trading Company, now referred to as DTC from here on. DTC requests the adventurers to perform, or DTC is being requested by the adventurers to perform services stipulated below, and may request the adventurers, or may be requested by the adventurers to perform other services in the future.
Ooh.
You notice that it is like another 7 pages long. Term and termination, adventure services. There's a bit talk about possessions of valuable goods, hereby referred to as treasure.
I'm gonna take the time to study this.
Financial information.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the time to study this.
The agreement takes effect immediately as of the effective date and remains in full force and effect until the company has completed the services unless earlier terminated under Section 1. Either party may terminate this agreement for causes by providing the other party written notice if the other party, 1, is in material breach of this agreement and has failed to cure such breach within 5 days after its receipt of written notice of such breach provided by the non-breaching party. 2. Engages in any unlawful business practice related to the party's performances under the agreement. Or 3. Files a petition for bankruptcy, becomes insolvent, acknowledges its insolvency in any manner, ceases to do business, makes an assignment for the benefit of its creditors, or has a receiver, trustee, or similar party appointed over any part of its property.
Is there like a dollar amount? She's
No.
asking.
You haven't even discussed that yet.
You always have volunteer.
Yeah, I just really wanted to continue including Lady Marie because she's traveling with us.
If she's willing to perform service, she just wants to make sure it's legally binding.
That's the thing. I mean, the service itself ends because what we're hiring her for essentially is to get across this river.
What about the way back?
Then we can go to Volunteer.
Your choice.
God damn you guys!
I'm really fine with this because whatever.
There's a lot. There's a lot of things that we can be taking advantage of.
Just let's do it.
As a result of providing the services, the adventurer or adventurer personnel may come into possession of valuable goods, hereby referred to as treasure. The adventurer shall notify DTC of any changes to the adventurer's schedule that could adversely affect the availability of the adventurer, whether known or unknown at the time of this agreement, no later than 24 hours prior to such changes. If the adventurer becomes aware of such changes within the 24-hour period, the adventurer should promptly notify DTC of
Okay, so I have a spell that like lets us all walk on water, I think. Hold on.
What was prepared?
The work performed by ETC shall be performed at the following rate of 10 gold piece per day with an additional incentive payment of 100 gold pieces for any conflicts involved while traveling.
Okay, so I can make 2 or 3 people able to walk on water for an hour, and I can turn into something that can swim and carry the 5th person.
What about our wagon?
ETC is willing to provide its agents with necessary...
Okay, this spell grants up to 10 willing creatures you can see within range and ability to breathe underwater until the spell ends.
Better wagon. Wagon.
necessary encounters. Incentive payments requests must be accompanied by the slain monster's head. If adventurers encounter a monster with no discernible head, an alternative proof of slaying may be provided at the discretion of DTC management. An additional incentive payment of 50 gold pieces will be provided for the safe return of the body of any DTC employees or fallen adventurers found within the area of said employment.
Essentially, we're entering a binding contract that we become their employed.
A sum of 100 pieces shall be withheld by DTC to pay for the recovery of the body and proper burial according to the chosen deity's customs, should any employees perish within the area of the employment.
Hey guys, why don't we just buy a boat
Cross the river this one time.
and back again, and if for any future reasons? Like you said, we're gonna make our orphanage on the ocean, so we could tie up our boat.
So, here's another question.
The wagon.
Pretty sure I'm the only one that knows what to do with the boat.
Been on a boat.
The parties intend that to the extent of the treasure or a portion of the treasure qualifies as salvage for hire item within the definition of Section 101 of Imperial Code 17-IKD-106. It will be deemed a salvage for hire item.
I don't want to do this anymore.
DTC shall be considered the hiring agent and be entitled to half of all treasure recovered. DTC shall not have the right to first selection of the treasure when dividing any items. The
Hey Joe,
Yes.
how long would it take to walk straight across the water?
I mean, at the size of this river, it might take you a couple hours, maybe 2 hours. You're just at a walking pace. Why do you have a longboat still?
Like I said, that was me messing around. Excuse me.
Keep the contract at the ready, Lady Marie.
Curious about
See, my party isn't quite comfortable with all these orders.
Reading it.
Huh?
Yeah, reading the contract this whole time. The adventurer shall transfer and assign to DTC all rights, titles, and interests throughout the plains, known and unknown, to any and all treasure designated. This transfer and assignment includes, but is not limited to, the right to resell, distribute, destroy, alter, and otherwise use the treasure in any way DTC sees fit.
I could conjure animals and we could all ride the animals across.
But our wagon!
Both parties represent that they are fully authorized and empowered to enter into this agreement, and the performance of the obligations under this agreement will not violate or infringe upon the rights of any third party or violate agreement between the parties and any other person, firm, or organization, or any law or governmental regulation.
Darn you, Joe.
Did you actually find this contract? Or is it
I'm
in-
altering an actual legal contract for hiring.
Pog wasn't like terms.
I'm going I'll have to apologize, Lady Marie. We cannot really bind ourselves to any one affiliation or to one organization.
And it's only for the time that you're hiring me.
To get across this river for a couple hours.
I mean, do you really think you're going to find any treasure while we cross the river?
Joe Tiff.
What? Are you expecting to run into that much trouble just getting across the river? The adventurer shall indemnify and hold harmless DTC, its affiliates, and its respective officers, directors, agents, and employees from any and all claims, demands, losses, causes of action, damage, lawsuits, judgments, whether direct or consequential, and including attorney's fees and costs for any injury, physical, mental, or spiritual, sustained by the adventurer or adventurer personnel.
So, you got a choice yet?
Just sign it.
I just wanted to keep her relevant. God damn, alright, I'll sign it.
All right, you sign it.
When you want to properly date it, is there a place to put for the amount of time for the specific task hired for?
Nope.
then I'm not signing it. We'll go to Balatek.
There's date, there's the name for your adventuring party at the top, and then there's a place for her to sign, and then several lines for the party to sign.
Yep. If there's no specific thing for me to put down, then I'm not gonna do it.
Oh my gosh, just do it. We need to get across the river, and I want to do something interesting tonight.
Like sign a contract.
If we can go to Balatek and then cross. Would you enjoy
Fine.
Dorkeld thinking about Fog taking the tutorials?
Fine. Go to Baltair, cross the river.
It's gonna take another 3 days to get up to Balatek.
That's fine.
And Lady Marie, who also, as soon as she got on the wall, she returned to her full size again.
Okay.
And she just shrugs her shoulders and takes back the contract. Be aware that if you require my services, I am available.
Yeah, I will be acutely aware.
I mean, if you really wanted me to write up something specific just for the crossing of the river, it could be done.
I mean, that was the entire intent of this, yes.
Well, this is just a general contract saying that you hired me to perform a service.
No.
If you want specific,
Okay, Andre's being too thoughtful about this. Can we just sign the stupid contract and go over the river?
I'm just gonna take it for
Yes. I'm just gonna take it, and do I have to roll something for that?
No,
Okay.
are you signing it?
Yes, I'm signing it.
All right, you're signing your name.
No, I'm signing it for the party.
You're referring to the party as.
The party.
The word.
I suppose. What? But this, however, means that you will be, for the course of this contract, considered the one who is considered. What would be the term? Liable for anything that happens with the party.
Fine. Fine.
It's now legally binding. She takes the contract, and then she lowers the cloud down so that everyone can get on the cloud.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh my gosh. The last 30 minutes have just been. Okay. Everybody on the cloud.
And she even makes a ramp so you can drive the wagon up onto it. Everybody get on the cloud?
Yeah, I was on the wagon.
Yes.
And like I walk.
She gets on the cloud, she raises it back up, and she starts it across the river. Doesn't really take too long because the cloud moves a little bit faster than you walk. The cloud can essentially move at the rate that you travel with the wagon. So, about an hour, you get across. Drops down to the other side, lets everybody off.
Wonderful. Does that conclude our contract?
I believe it does.
No.
And considering that it took less than 1 day, you will not be held to the full cost of the contract, and I will simply charge you 5 silver.
Andre, I hate you. I paid the stupid silver.
You can hate me as much as you want, but you were changing your judgment during the whole thing too.
She puts the 5 silver in her other purse this time. She clearly has a purse for giant coins and a purse for regular sized coins.
Okay. Do we have yeah, we have the map to where we're going. So let's just be on our way.
You guys travel to the woods. It's a little slow going, but you get there after about 2 days of travel. And you find what appears to be a cave entrance. Walled shutting up of stone, and a passage that leads down. And this appears to be at the location of the map as far as you are able to tell.
It's time to descend.
Hey,
We're doing this walking order, party order.
So that I have ability to sense undead.
well, before we go down, I do activate my shield of brightness.
Yeah, I can't slide on my hammer. That's right. I came prepared.
The alley doesn't have a dark vision, right?
She does not.
And it'll cast light on her greatsword and make it crimson.
So now I have a 30-foot radius of bright light and a dim light for an additional 30. See?
We're taking our initiative rolls.
Hang on the board first.
Is Marie staying outside?
No.
Oh wait, she could just float over.
We're not paying her for that. Well,
I said she could float over.
yeah. If she can she put a cloud in a cave?
I mean, Easy. So she gets small enough to get into the cave entrance, but once it opens up again, she just becomes relatively large. She will only allow herself to be small as is necessary. She's also very annoyed at how cramped the ceilings are in here.
Bloody cave.
Alright, let's get us some initiative.
I don't know where I am, Joe.
Wow. First time. Actually get a good initiative. Zanafia doesn't go first.
I'm so really.
I fall into the dude cavern.
What exactly were you smirking about earlier, Lady Marie? Last night.
Let's find your relation with Allie to be intriguing. Oh, it should be noted that after waking up in the morning, Lady Marie is wearing like an excessive amount of jewelry now. Alright, Thorkel, you've got the initiative.
Don't break
Can you
the
see?
bridge.
I can see. Yes, I can see. Remember, I activated my shield, so I got this little flashlight.
I'm just curious because when I use the DM button to see what the token can see, I don't see anything really.
Oh. Well, did you change the whatever settings you need to for adding lights?
I believe so. I'm just as long as you can see. I can see the whole dungeon if I'm not looking from a token's perspective.
So I take a step on the bridge. Now, how does this bridge look?
In old.
We'll have to make a check to get over, or is that...
I mean, you can step on it. It just looks to be in bad shape.
I'm in the bridge.
I guess I will dash to the other side. This is
It
it.
wasn't the most comfortable crossing, but you managed to get across.
Titus gets on the bridge and I cut the ropes.
Making me fly right in front of Marie?
Ellie is a little excited.
She dashes up there, but then proceeds to wait for everyone else. Zanafia.
I'll do. Oh, that's good.
Back.
You saw my things, Joe.
What?
That's all what I could do.
Lady Marie, not liking the look of the bridge, creates a little cloud over the chasm and steps off it. Titus,
That's everything I do.
Thorkel.
I'm assuming these black spots are chasms.
Yep.
Okay. 6. I dash there.
Joe, shouldn't there be cave music, like harp music?
Kelly, the next time when we go to turn this book, I'll use Divine Sense before we give it.
I mean, that does make me feel a little better.
There you go.
There we go.
And I can use my grave eye. Search for undead.
But I am going to dash there.
Give me a second.
And there's even a reference to specifically detecting vampires in this, so.
Oh, shit. Right. It's that little thing again.
What is it?
The thing that grabs up people's faces.
Down. And attempts to latch onto Thorkel.
He's fine. Oh, hit it off his face.
It cannot penetrate his armor. It's not alone. However, this one flies directly at you and is easily noticeable. You get a free attack against it.
The bridge held your giant axe over my.
You keep your axe here, and it's got so much weight, and you don't realize how soft the ground is, that it sticks into the ground, and you're like stuck with it trying to take it out. Your axe is currently stuck in the ground. Now your turn's up.
Well, I already did my move. I mean, I suppose, can you even hurt these things? What are they?
Big giant mosquitoes.
Giant mosquito bats.
Right, until she found.
Well, don't they have to like make a something? You just roll damage.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that. Oh, it just causes. And they, so
Make a save.
they have a Constitution save of 16.
Fails. Which one? The one that Thorkel tried to hit suddenly just like turns to ice and shatters on the ground. Ellie looks around, seeing the familiar little creatures considers them to be little more than an annoying pest. And one of them shall pester Ellie. And succeed. The little creature swoops down, sticks itself to Ellie, and manages to get right in the chink in her armor, right around her neck. You see it begins sucking the blood back.
So it's busy sucking the blood.
It is
Does it have disadvantage on its save?
But
I'm gonna cast Secret Flame on it.
It will not have disadvantage now. What kind of save does it have to make?
A deck save.
Apparently it passes with flying colors.
I think it's mostly tilted.
You try hard not to hit Allie.
Huh?
Obviously you were trying real hard not to hit Allie.
Yeah.
Not anything else?
No, I can't. I move and do my action.
Everyone hears
Oh god.
Ulrich complaining about the size of these annoying little caves. Titus sees as she squeezes by and does her best to try and step over him. She walks into the room and talks about how you're all just wasting time fighting off insects. I understand. Complains about the height and some more. Titus,
I'm going to grab the thing by its proboscis, try and pull it off Allie.
make a grapple check, dex or strength, whichever you prefer.
How do I do specifically a grapple check?
Well, you would just need to roll an attack roll, essentially.
Like that?
Yep, and it manages to scoot away. Oh wait, no, because it's currently attached. It can't attempt to escape. So yeah, you grab it.
So now is it a strength to try and pull it off, or?
No, you can just pull it off.
Alright,
Not hard.
pull it off. Crush it in my hands.
Turn.
I'm guessing I took my action, so
Yep.
yeah. Or actually, I could. Oh, sorry.
More.
I'm going to smack these things.
It just can't get through.
Just can't get through.
Ooh, but that one gets to Zenopia.
At least these aren't as bad as Duskitos and Belheim.
How do you know what my armor class is, Joe?
Look,
I don't need it.
Because it crit you.
he also probably has it written down.
It's also a crit, though.
Oh, hey, hang on there.
Oh.
It's a crit. That's door.
Just a normal, just does no damage, Joe. No crit damage.
Does that actually use up anything for you, or can you just choose to do that?
Oh, I have 3 things I can do with. It uses the sentry at death's door. I have 3.
It's your, what do you call it? Channel Divinity?
Was that challenge divinity? That's separate. It has its own thing. I have a total of 3 uses of it.
So is it essentially like the Divine Sense? Or Lay on Hands? Where it has something that generates the resting?
Yeah, if I take every time I get alarms, I get them back.
Well, it does 3 damage, but it still sticks to you.
Got to use it. Kazoo. Just in case the crit did something special.
Last
17.
it sticks you.
Wait a minute, so why'd you have to ask him but not me?
Because it crit you.
Oh.
You take 7 damage as it sticks into you.
Wow.
Thorkel, you'll have to make a strength check to pull your axe out of the ground. You want to use it.
I'm punching it.
No, I'm punching it.
Well, you hit. Absolutely. Your minimum damage.
Yeah, the other one. Punch that one.
Hey,
Yeah. Told you I was gonna smack him.
Thorkel just lets go of his axe and starts just come to the bone.
Whoa, you made an arrow. There's clearly treasure down that chasm. Whoa.
Sit off yet.
I didn't think that was actually gonna work for both.
Must have my ability.
Link stuck to you.
Yeah.
Trying to drink your blood. It is drinking your blood.
It's nervy.
Dude, Sam, I can't use my ability on you. You're not 30 feet of me. Oh, yes, you are.
I did a thing, Joe.
Didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
I didn't hear
Frostbite.
Can't save.
it. Saves. Being warmed by your vitae.
Gross.
Is that your turn then?
Yeah.
Allie doesn't like it. She grabs it, smashes it.
Wait. Okay.
Her minimum damage can kill it. So.
Oh.
And if she has it in her hand, which you can do, because it specifically states you can just use your action to grab them if they're on someone. And because I know her minimum damage would kill it, and she will auto hit because she already has it grabbed.
Can I stand here, Joe, or not?
Where?
We're here at the square.
Yes, but it will be technically. If anything happens, you might fall off that ledge.
Let's try and explain that one to Tyler. Brian just fell off the edge.
I'm gonna use Secret Flame on that one.
It fails.
Azoo.
Gosh, that's a lot of damage.
Man.
Really wanted to burn that one.
No more.
Go!
That's your turn, I'm assuming?
Yes. What the hell? There we go. So there's movement left, but oh well.
Lady Marie looks even more annoyed seeing as the tunnel gets smaller again ahead of her. Titus.
Gotta prepare or hold my attack.
Thorka.
Or I should have helped Torek help hold his axe. Oh well.
Not my axe.
Right check.
Oh, he's got it.
You just put like one hand on it and you looked it out, and then you realize how heavy you have to grab it with your other hand.
Alright. 6. I would stop there.
Take your
Take
time.
yours.
Take my
Some-
stabs.
There appears to be what almost looks like some kind of chapel ahead. And there are hooded and robed figures sitting in several of the pews.
Are they?
They are not. They look like they are bent over in prayer,
Are they saying anything?
completely silent.
You can't, so reacts in there.
No, big summer blowout.
You do anything else, Anafia? Back.
Joe, what would be the equivalent of flashbang? That's,
Your shield.
no, that's more of a riot shield. Flashlights on it.
I am gonna use my grave ability. I get to attack undead. That's 6 feet of me. That's not in total it's not behind total cover.
What was that?
I'm using my Eye of the Grave. It lets me attack undead. It's not behind total cover.
How far out does it go?
60 feet, and it's not protected by divine divinity magic.
Everything in that room is undead.
Alright. I yell at the people. I tell the people.
Yeah.
That is my action. Okay, it lasts until my end of my next turn.
Lady continues to follow behind, griping about short tunnels, small spaces, annoying human-sized structures. Titus.
Evil! Evil!
Right.
I can't. I don't see any tokens or anything, but I know about them though. So
Yeah, now you do. Thanks to me.
As Titus enters, they all kind of begin to awkwardly shamble and stand up.
Say hi, Titus.
They don't do that creepy stand up at once.
I'll say
Enter.
right.
Nope.
Boop, 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 boop.
What? You don't just attack them. You don't know if they're gonna like actually attack you or not.
They're dead.
I'm dead.
How it-
I'm dead attack. Are you new?
First, I'm new.
I've been dead before.
Well, yes, but not these undead. I don't know if they're different.
But they're undead.
Most undead. Non
They're all jerks.
except for like glitches.
Does it hit?
Give me a minute.
Oh, sorry.
It's the niche
I'm gonna see what kind of undead they are. If they're just regular undead.
cultist.
You're a cultist.
Cultist.
Actually, I have a couple up here. Somewhere in.
I
All
still
these
have
space-
demons.
I know you do. In fact, they're not cultists.
Certainly hit Andre.
But it does. Okay. Well, one of those is a 1. Doesn't matter. 11 damage.
Hack at it. But it is yet standing.
Then I strike again. I do not strike again. It hits.
You hit.
And then I strike again! Oh, 1, 2. I roll that. So 15 damage.
You lop its head from its shoulders.
Excellent.
It still comes after you.
Action to attack! Huh? Yeah. Oh, one of them's the 1. Gotta reroll that. 14 extra damage. Or 14 damage.
Stab at it. It moans and starts to reach out at you. It is not dead yet.
That's everything I can do.
Actually, I know what kind of zombie they are. Or what kind
And
of dead
here-
they are.
Hopefully Tyler will be able to join us next week.
Oh, and you're leaving it here?
Yeah,
Top of the track order?
Back you came some plan, go back up.
9 o'clock. Hopefully Tyler will be here, pretty close to the entrance, so we could say that he was just finishing.
I gotta get around to our next session.
We will continue this next Sunday,
Hey,
where Lady Bird continue to complain about small spaces.